Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, guys. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the journey of learning in Tabarak Academy. Today we're going to talk about something related to the faith of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again, but it's not an article of faith this time. It's about the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Asma'ullah al-Husna. The most wonderful, unmatched names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing like Allah's name subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe it could be like holding some of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the meaning, the complete absolute meaning of the name itself for Allah, when it comes to Allah, is way different, completely different from how the same exact name when it's belonging to us. So for example, Allah, one of His names subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Rahim. So Al-Rahim, if your name is Rahim, for example, maybe you already held some of the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but His name subhanahu wa ta'ala is already containing more meanings more than anything. So today I want to talk about that. Asma'ullah al-Husna, what is the importance of studying that? How can we learn about the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can we really use them for our sake? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually said in the Quran, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made those names of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala so that we could call Him, throw it at and by His name subhanahu wa ta'ala. Call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we depend on Allah, we rely on Allah through His name subhanahu wa ta'ala, which gives us tranquility. So I'm going to start with a few examples to help us doing that. So Allah's name, for example, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahim, the merciful, the most merciful subhanahu wa ta'ala. The learning about that name will help you that everything happen in your life, it definitely has a mercy in it. There's a mercy behind it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create you to punish you in that world. Allah created you in that world so that you'd be learning some lessons and get tested. And then after that, you're going to know who is the one that gets rewarded and the one that gets the penalty through how much you were sticking to His path subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He gave you the guidance, He gave you the prophets, He gave you everything you need so that you could be sticking to His path and His law, but you basically went away. You abandoned it, you ignored it, you basically discarded it. So what's one thing about the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahim. His name is the provider, Ar-Razaq. For example, Allah is one of His names, Ar-Razaq subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the one who's given sustenance, the rizq to people. So whenever the learning of that lesson, how could we learn this? So whenever anyone, for example, lost his job, some people think like, you know what, how could I earn my life now? How can I run in my wheel of life? And he's like screaming and yelling, and take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. It's okay. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's Ar-Razaq. If you lost your job today, I mean, He is Ar-Razaq. Out of the belief, out of the confidence in His name, Ar-Razaq, He will be able, inshallah, to be, make it available for you to have another job. As He gave you that job, He will give you another job. As He gave you that son, He will be able to give another son if that son, for example, died or whatever. So Allah is Ar-Razaq, He's the provider of everything. So if you believe in this, anything happen in your life, with the belief in this and the confidence that will help you pass by that kind of hardship, inshallah. I want to give you a little story that confirmed that thing. The names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are unmatched. They're matchless. Subhanallah. So the names of Him, they're most wonderful. They're always containing things like beauty, His kindness, mercy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the same time, some of His names also containing power and might and power and wrath for the people they deserve it. Because God can't be like mercy, kind, all that, or else it will be like that will cause a bad and like a great deal of intolerance, and that will make people like have a corruption and mess. No, everything has to be in the middle. It can't be extremist like that. So Allah is Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Qawi, and Allah is Ar-Rahim at the same time. But His mercy went over His power. Rahmatuhu sabaqat ghadabuhu subhanahu wa ta'ala. The story that I want to go over it today is the Prophet Ibrahim story with his wife, basically Hajar, with the Prophet Ismail, the baby son of Ismail. When the Prophet Ibrahim basically wanted to meet the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants to meet the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah told him to come, and he wanted to leave his family. And when Hajar, look at the great wife, she asked him like, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask you to do that? He said, yes. He nodded, saying yes. Then she said, like, لَن يُضَيِّعَنَ Allah. Allah will not forgive us. Allah will not forget us. Allah will not ignore us. What is that? That's a great amount of faith from her in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Latif. The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Raqib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, As-Sami'. She believes in all the things. Allah is all seeing and all hearing. He knows her. He sees her subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then He will not ignore her. So if we all have our life like that, anything happens, you rely to Allah, you're going to have, inshallah, the same exact outcome as the same for Hajra, and at the end the Prophet Ibrahim came, and by baby Ismail, the known story about the Zamzam and everything. Wish you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. Jazakumullah khairan for listening to that lecture. And we ask Allah by His name, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make everything go at ease in our life and bless us with the Quran and the life of being in Islam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.